available just this year. What exactly is this program?
So that's our plastic pollution and EU curriculum, which kind of builds on some of those resources that I talked about last year. But we worked all year with teachers across New York, not just in the Great Lakes, but also Long Island, on this issue that's come up with their students a lot, plastic pollution. We see it in our waterways, we see it in our parks, around our schools, and in our neighborhoods. So we wanted to create a set of activities that can connect students to this problem, both as the source of the problem, because we use this plastic, and also the solution. So how do we keep it out of our water? How do we keep it from harming our fish and getting in our drinking water? So that's really what plastic pollution and you is all about, putting all of us in the center of this to solve the problem.
You know what's so cool, Mercedes? All of these curricula they're in these bags. You can just check them out, kind of like you do at the library, right?
Yeah, so teachers across the Great Lakes, I ship them to them and they mail them back. Or here in Buffalo, I do a personal delivery, you know? Or I'll go to the...
I'm sure folks really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Or go to the classroom.
Can see Nate.
Yeah, I'll come and I'll talk to you, bring all my fun stuff with it. I have lots of fun stuff. But it's great to give kids hands-on resources, you know? We see a lot of things on screen, you can read a lot in a book, but when you're touching it, you're interacting with it, you're learning about the different plastics and how they impact the environment. You want to touch it, you want to see it. So that's
and
what we try to do.
What's the impact you see with the kids from beginning to end?
Yeah, it definitely it opens their eyes, opens their minds, because they see plastic every day, but they don't necessarily know where it's coming from. They don't know the impact. They don't know how long it lasts in the environment. They might not realize that some of the fish that we have in the Fishopedia kit can eat that plastic. So they really get motivated and excited. And we have activities in here that help them go through the engineering process to design ways to capture plastic, an action plan for their communities to get together and solve this problem. So we want it to be proactive, solution-oriented, so they can take that awareness into action.
So you're talking about different types of plastic, and you can see in this video how it just ends up on the shoreline, but that's just what ends up on the shoreline. There's so much more plastic. What is the percentage of plastics that are currently in our environment?
So there's a few different types of plastics. So what we're seeing in the video, those are microplastics. So when your big items break down into something smaller than about 5 millimeters in size. And they've estimated that there's about 10 tons of plastic that goes into the Great Lakes every year. And a lot of it are those tiny microplastics. So when a bottle breaks down to something real small, or a bag shreds into small pieces, those are the things that are really hard to get out, because you can't filter out something that small, but that's also what can be ingested by wildlife. So tons, literally tons of plastic going in. And volunteers are doing cleanups with a lot of great organizations, and they can pick up hundreds of thousands of pieces, but until we realize that the trash keeps coming, we're going to keep picking it up. So that's why we're trying to look at how are we using this material, which has value. I mean, I'm glad that fish is in a plastic jar.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want it in a glass jar, it could break. So there are uses for this material, but we need to be smart about it as a society and help kids develop that awareness. You know, what is plastic? Where does it come from? How is it made? Where does it go?
Right. And so if folks are interested in getting any of this really useful information to be able to teach kids about not just plastics, but, you know, sturgeon and lamprey, sea lamprey, invasive species. Where do they go for that info?
So everything's on our website, New York Sea Grant, Great Lakes Ecosystem Education Exchange, or GLEE for short, G-L-E-E-E. 3 E's.
3 E's.
3 E's. And the plastic pollution curriculum has its own website, New York Sea Grant /plastic pollution.
All right. Well, thank you so
Nate.
much for being on our show.
It's always a pleasure.
This is great.
You can keep that if you want.
It's for you, a present.
Thank you,
It'll
Nate.
look great on the shelf.
That would be actually quite fantastic. Oh my gosh, a great time. But we still have great times ahead because